Hi all of my lovely people, it's Heidi from Happy Scribbles. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are setting up week 21's bird spread. I decided to go with just a cute bird theme instead of doing a specific type of bird, and I had a lot of fun with it, and it was pretty beginner level and just fun and easygoing. So the first thing that I did was take this little watercolor book, which is near the end of its days, and I just started with no sketch or anything, and I went in with water onto my watercolor paper in the shape of a bird, and then I added in a wash of very diluted color over that water, and then afterwards I added in the concentrated look up at the head and kind of let it spread down. This is something that you can find on the internet. A lot of people have done this, and it's just really cute and, like I said, beginner friendly and really easy to do and kind of a fun way to practice these kind of techniques. So the idea was to make them all be different colors, different tones, but kind of still go together. So I'm keeping a separation when I'm wetting the paper, making sure that when the layers are wet, they are not touching each other, because I didn't want one bird to bleed into the other and mess up the colors. And then as some of the layers dried, I would go back in afterwards and add in another layer to darken up their heads and kind of a little bit more water to let that even out. And then I decided that it was good. I took my size 08 fine liner and I went in and drew a line that all the little birdies are snuggled on together. So while I was doing this, I was just thinking about how much I have done with these Primrosia Watercolor Brush pens. It's been a good year and a half, I think, since I bought them. I believe I bought them in November of 2023. And I have used them for so many things, and they've been really great. And I just wanted to tell you all, if you've been following along with me, because I'm so excited that a couple of my wonderful family members gave me a little bit of cash for Mother's Day, and I decided to go ahead and get myself a set of real watercolor paints. And so I don't know how soon exactly they'll be here, but I am so excited to be trying out real watercolors for the first time ever. So that's kind of like a little sneak peek of upcoming content on this channel. I'm going to be learning how to use real watercolors and hopefully improve my skills, and just I have a goal to be able to do really nice watercolor scenes and including portraits, which terrify me a little bit, but I'm going to be delving into that world, as I would love to be able to do portraits of my daughters and maybe put them on our walls. I would love to get good enough for that. And here I was just showing you all that I finally got a new stick glue. I had had the same one for quite a while too, and it actually ran out. And so I picked up this new one, which is nice and crisp, and you know, it just feels kind of fun whenever you get to use something new. So we cut out the little birdies, and what I'm gonna do is just glue them down onto the top of my page. I kind of went back and forth as to the placements, and I decided to just go ahead and put them up there at the top. And then I cut off one page to make a thin Dutch door. I rounded off the edges, and this little flap will be for my habit tracker on one side and my gratitudes on the other side. And then I took this really thin washi tape and I just taped off the edges all around, including the Dutch door, and I got ready to do a little scene painting here. And then I'm going to lay down a layer of water all across the paper, and I will go in first with yellow, orange, pink, purple, and then blue, and kind of fuse those colors together, and then make some little cloud formations to set up like a sunset skyline. And once again, I'm using that fine liner to draw in my habits on the little Dutch door. I did 6 spaces for habits, and I wrote in the labels for each one. And then I did not want to waste that piece that I had cut out for the Dutch door. So what I did was I blackened it and I made it look like plants, and I cut it out. And before taping it in, I finished drawing my scene with the fine liner on top of that sunset that I had painted. By this time it was dry. And then I used some of my double-sided tape and I taped that piece onto the corner, making a nice little pocket. Then I got my Bible and I chose my Bible verse to draw in here. My verse says, "Today, if you hear even the echo of his voice, do not harden your hearts as to anger him." Hebrews 3:15. And then what was remaining of that little paper that we cut off, I cut that into 4 little cards and I labeled both sides with the days of the week, and the extra side I labeled as notes. These I am using for my menu cards. I thought it was pretty cute and fun, and I could stick them there in that little pocket. And then I outlined with a broken line the squares for my daily spaces to just write down things for each day, and I was done. I had a lot of fun with this one. I didn't need to think too much about it. It was just nice and easy and quick. I did have a little bit of trouble with the black watercolor marker as it was running out of ink, and it was pretty hard to get those bushes all filled in. But you know, I guess we're close to getting my new watercolors, and so hopefully this won't be an issue anymore. And then there's those cute little menu cards. I don't know why, I just think it's so cute whenever there's something small that you can kind of take out and pull out and write on and then stick it back in. Just makes it a little bit more fun to use. I also wrote there on the second page a little spot for tasks. I figured that I would just write down all my weekly tasks on there and then mark them off as we go. Well, thank you all for being here with me and for watching. I hope you come back soon. Have a wonderful week.